Welcome to a new episode of Creature Madness, hosted by yours truly, Gus from Askewed Reviews. And if you don't know what Creature Madness is, this is a creation by my friend Matthew over at Horror Madness. He essentially has made a book club and invited some of his friends where we all watch the same creature feature film, and then each of us does our own review about that movie. The other members of this club are Ashley, Bambi, Amariah, Jen, and Ryan. And speaking of Ryan, it was his turn to choose a movie for us all to watch and review. And he chose the 2014 film Late Phases, also known as Night of the Wolf. This is directed by Adrian Garcia Bogliano. So from time to time, I've seen the cover of this film kind of pop up here and there, but I didn't really know much about it. I am really glad this one came up as a suggestion because this was way better than I was expecting. Let me tell you about what the concept is for this film. We have a retirement community that every month an animal attack seems to happen and take out one of its residents. But because this is the elderly and this community is right on the edge of town near the forest, the local authorities keep chalking it up to just an animal attack and don't really look further into it. We then meet our main character and newest member of this retirement community, and that's Ambrose McKinley, who happens to be a blind veteran. Now, Ambrose definitely seems a bit rough around the edges. He is, however, a very capable person and does not let his disability stop him from accomplishing his goals. During Ambrose's first night in this new community, he begins to hear some sort of commotion in his next door neighbor's home. When he tries to investigate, a wild animal begins to attack him and his guide dog Shadow. Now, Ambrose tries to fight it off, but Shadow does manage to attack it enough to make it run out into the night. Unfortunately for Shadow, though, he is mortally wounded. Now, just like a John Wick film, you don't mess with a man's dog, especially when he is highly capable and well trained. Once again, though, the local authorities seem to be doing nothing about it. So Ambrose begins to try to do his own investigation. While doing so, he pretty quickly realizes this is not just an ordinary animal, but perhaps a werewolf. So, being the fact that the next full moon is about a month away, he begins putting together plans and strategizing on how to take out this creature. So, will Ambrose be able to get his revenge on this monster, or will the creature be able to discover what he's doing first? I really did enjoy the story on this one. I felt it was very different and original. Also, the character of Ambrose, you either like him or at the very least respect him. I will say this movie almost reminds me a little bit of like Bubba Hotep if it wasn't a comedy. Another thing you'll notice is there are a few familiar faces of actors that kind of pop up here and there in different movies. One other thing I do want to talk about is the look of the werewolves themselves. Now, I don't think that they looked bad, but just a little bit cheesy. However, though, the actual transformation into a werewolf, those scenes were done so well. It reminded me a lot of An American Werewolf in London. So for me on my scale, I'm giving Late Phases a 4 out of 5. I definitely recommend checking it out for yourself. It's currently streaming for free on Prime, Peacock, and Plex. Now, as a quick spoiler warning, I'm about to do my part of Creature Madness, where I go over a little bit more about the creature that appears in the film. So let's talk about the werewolves from this film. They have the obvious regular traits of a werewolf of changing around the full moon, and of course being affected by silver. What I thought was very interesting and different in this film is apparently the person who is a werewolf knows that they are the entire time and can apparently pass on that trait just by biting them, whether or not they're in full wolf form. I will also say, like most werewolves, they do seem to have an enhanced strength and agility as well. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Creature Madness. And if you'd like to see what everyone else did for their review on this film, just look up the hashtag Creature Madness.